In this video today, I'm going to be showing you how to make a needle felted snail that's really, really easy and anyone can do it. My name is Charlotte Allen and you've reached my channel, The Felting Alchemist. So today is part one of me showing you how to make this needle felted snail, and it is really super easy. Anyone can do it. So if you've never needle felted before and you want to give it a go, this is a really good tutorial to start out on. It's also really great if you've been needle felting for a while, because sometimes the easier projects are just really nice to do and it's just there's no stress involved. You can just kind of methodically go through it and then end up with this really lovely, beautiful needle felted sculpture at the end. The finished sculpture is so lovely and looks so professional. You could definitely go on to sell it in craft markets or online shops or in art shops or anything like that. So I'm not going to waste any more time here because I'm really excited to show you this. Let's just get stuck into what you're going to need and part one of this tutorial. So what are you going to need for this tutorial? Well, you're going to need 25 grams of fox sheep wool bats. You're definitely going to need some embroidery scissors because we've got some really fine elements that we need to snip in this tutorial. You're also going to be requiring a pinch of brown merino wool, a slim length of merino roving wool in any colour of your choice. You're going to need 2 flesh-coloured baby pink luxury pipe cleaners, 15 grams of New Zealand merino bats in your choice of colour, 25 grams of flesh New Zealand merino bats. You're going to need a tape measure, a felting mat. You're going to want to be using your fine needles and your medium needles that we've been using throughout. And in this tutorial, I'm going to be using the twisted needle and the twisted star needle. You'll need a pinch of white Gotland wool bats, and you're also going to need some wire cutters and some sticky beeswax balm. So let's get stuck into this tutorial. So the first thing you're going to need for this tutorial is one of your pipe cleaners, and you want to fold it exactly in half so you've got a bend right down the middle of the pipe cleaner, so you've got it equally in half. Then you're going to take your wire cutters and you're going to cut right on that crease so that you separate those two pieces and you have two halves. Once you've done that, you want to just cover it in your beeswax balm, and this is just going to help your wool to stick to your length of pipe cleaner. So just make sure you've got all sides covered, and once you have, we can then take our flesh coloured wool. And like I said before, this is a pink New Zealand merino flesh coloured wool bats. So it's nice and lofty and it's very easy to wrap around any kind of armature. It's a very forgiving kind of wool. So what I'm going to do is just stretch this out just to see how long a piece I have. Ideally, you want it to be about 3 times the length of your pipe cleaner that you're going to be wrapping. Otherwise, it just takes a lot longer to wrap the pipe cleaner with the wool and get that thickness. So this piece is going to be about 18-19 inches in length, and it's probably about 1 inch to 1.5 inches in its thickness. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit shorter or a little bit longer, but you do want to have that kind of rough inch worth of thickness. So I've started wrapping from about 1/4 of the way down, and as I'm wrapping, I'm taking it to the end first, and I'm just making sure that as I wrap, I'm untwisting the wool so it doesn't twist around, because you're not going to get a clean finish then to when you've wrapped it around your pipe cleaner. So now all I'm doing is I'm just twisting the top of the pipe cleaner, and I'm holding the wool with my thumb and forefinger of my right hand, which is my dominant hand, and I'm guiding the wool down the length of the pipe cleaner. Don't worry too much at the moment if it's not super duper smooth, because we're going to felt this down and we're going to get a nice smooth finish to it eventually. We want to get it as tightly wrapped as possible, but you know, it's likely that you will get a little bit of this kind of ruching in between. But as long as you keep checking to make sure your wool isn't twisting as you're wrapping it, and you're keeping it nice and close, keeping the pipe cleaner nice and close in your hand and the wool nice and close as well, this shouldn't happen too much. And every now and then, if you find it's a bit too loose, just unravel it and come back and twist it again. It's not a problem. So I'm just twisting this as tightly as I can, all the way down to the opposite end of the pipe cleaner. trying to keep it as smooth as possible. So I'm holding it really closely and keeping it very taut. So holding the wool nice and close so it doesn't break off, and keeping it taut. So I've got that smooth finish, and I'm just going to felt that down now with my fine needles so that it can't unravel. And then I'm just going to fold over that last small piece, and then I'm just going to felt that down again with my fine needles. And I'm just going over any looseness that I might have along the wool to make sure it's nice and tightly into the pipe cleaner. Take care when you're felting on the with the pipe cleaner in the middle, because what you don't want to do is break your needles. So I'm going to take another length, very similar in the same length of the piece that I used earlier on. And I'm going to start again from the same position that I started originally. So I'm going to start about a quarter of the way down the pipe cleaner, going up and then back down again, and then taking that last piece and wrapping it around the rest of the body. And the reason why we're concentrating a bit more of the wool towards the top of the pipe cleaner is because we want to create that kind of head shape and create a difference between one end of the body and the other end of the body. So I like to think of this as almost a bit like Superworm in the Julia Donaldson novels, if anyone's ever seen those. And it's got a slightly thicker head to the rest of its body, and it just kind of makes it look a bit more like it could come to life, I guess. So I'm just using, again, my fine needles just to felt that all down and get that nice and tight against the pipe cleaner, and just very carefully using my pipe cleaner on the tips of the head just to get any kind of fluffiness felted down. But always take care because, like I said, you don't want to break your needles. So taking the third piece and going up the head and then back down again, creating that thickness again, and then just take it all the way down the body as before. And you can go as long as you want to with this. It's really how you want your snail to look. So it might be that once you've felted all this down, you'll be happy with the thickness of this and you want to proceed with making the shell. Or if you feel that you want to make it slightly thicker, just keep adding the flesh coloured wool. You don't want it to be too thick because eventually it'll become a bit too wool bound and you'll lose that flexibility in the body. But it's nice to have a kind of a slightly thicker body because I just think it gives it a bit more robustness as a sculpture. So again, I'm just using my fine needles and I'm carefully felting in kind of a light stabbing motion. I'm not going all the way through. I'm just sort of taking it probably just before reaching the pipe cleaner to felt all that down. And obviously the thicker this gets, the easier it then gets to felt because you haven't got to worry so much about that pipe cleaner because it's deeper inside the sculpture. And I'm just concentrating on that tip area there and felting that into itself. And you can really see how this is starting to take form. And it can take a little while to get this sort of smooth finish, but it really is worth it. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going to start on the other end this time because I just want to make this tail a little bit thicker. I don't want it to be the same thickness as the head, but I do want it to have a bit more thickness than it currently does. So I'm just taking the wool up from the opposite side and bringing that round. And then I'm just going to felt those ends down. And then I'm just going to once again felt all over the body of the worm shape, I guess, until it's all nicely felted down into itself and incorporated into the piece. And as a starter project for armatures, this is really great, and it's not too labour intensive and it doesn't take too long to do. So you could probably make one of these sort of worm type shapes with the facial features and everything else in about an hour once you've got the techniques down. So it's a great sculpture to be able to kind of go to if you want to create something quick to sell that isn't going to take you too long. It still looks really professional and really quirky. So I'm just going to take a bit more wool and I'm going to just take it again to the tail side. Just kind of really build on that a bit more and bring that piece round all the way up towards the head.
And then eventually I'll add a little bit more around the head area just to give it that additional thickness. And it should really be quite easy now when it comes to felting into this, because the pipe cleaner's nice and deeply inside the body of the worm. But the nice thing with this is that you've still got that bendability because you've got the pipe cleaner inside. So if you were just going to stop at making a worm, which you absolutely can do, you don't have to go forward and make the entire snail. You can kind of bend it into different positions, and it's a really great gift to make for somebody as well. You could even have it on like a bookshelf as a bookworm, make it some little glasses. It'd be quite a cool little feature. So all I'm doing here is I'm just rolling it in between my hands, and that just helps to distribute the wool evenly around the body, and then I'm just refelting to get a nice smooth and even finish on our worm shape that we're making. And then what I'm going to do next is just take a bit more of that pink flesh coloured wool bats, and as I said before, I'm just going to add a bit more around to the head area of our worm shape just to make it a bit thicker, so we've got more space to add the facial features onto when we come to do that in the next part of the tutorial. So I'm just using my finger here to just ease that wool over, get it nice and even. You don't want it to have any areas that are too thick. You want to make sure that the wool's evenly distributed over the worm shape. And you can, if you do find that happens, you can felt it out, but it's easier just to kind of get it nice and smooth in the first place and then felt it all down. And using those fine needles means that you get a much smoother and even finish to the skin of your worm. If you were to use the medium needles, that would be okay, but it would compact the wool a lot more densely, and that would potentially cause your worm not to be quite as flexible when you've made the final product. So I'd recommend using those fine needles. It gives you a lot more flexibility in terms of how densely you want to compact that wool as you felt it into the body. Just giving it another roll with my hands. It's going to go to the end of the tail where I've got some looseness and felt that down a bit more and get that a bit more tightly incorporated into the piece. And you can see now we've got a nice even shape to our worm shape. Okay, so there you go. That's the first stage of your snail. And now let's move on to the next stage, which is adding his facial features. See you there.